Okay, folks, today we're talking about the volume of a prism. Now remember, surface area is the amount of space there is on the outside. So there's that figure, right? That's a rectangle, that's a rectangle. This is a rectangle. We find the area for each one of those, right? And then these three faces back there. We find the area for each one of those to find out how much material we'd need to make something, how much space there is on the outside of this box. But today, we're not talking about how much space there is on the outside, on the skin, on the surface of the box. We now want to know how much fits in it. Okay? Now here's the formula that you've got to know. Volume equals the area of the base. See that capital B? That capital B stands for area of base. Okay? Times the height. That's it. That's it. Okay? Now, think about this figure that we're looking at. What's its base shape? If I turned it upside down and I looked at its base, what's the shape of that base? Catherine? It's a rectangle, right? It looks like this. Okay? Now, if I asked you to find the area of the base, what would you do, Elise?
You multiply 13 times.
I'd multiply 13 times 16 because that's a rectangle on the bottom. Okay, so I've got 13 times 16. Now remember, this is the area of the base. What do I still need to do to find out what the volume is now? What do you think, Maggie P?
Then you get the answer and then you times it by the height.
And then I times it by the height. And what is the height of this box, Sarah Kay?
12.
It's 12. Perfect. Now, remember, I can't multiply three numbers at once. I multiply 2, and then I multiply the one that was left out. I multiply the answer times the one that was left out. But if they're all being multiplied, I can do them in any order. I can do 12 times 13 times 16. I can do 12 times 16 times 13. I can do 13 times 16 and then times 12. It doesn't matter if they're all being multiplied. It doesn't matter what order I do it in. Okay? So I'm going to, when I look at this one, I'm just going to multiply 13 times 16. What do you get when you multiply 13 times 16, CB?
208.
208, CB tells me. Is that true? Does everybody agree with that? Okay. Now, what do I get when I multiply 208 times 12? What do I get? Suzette?
I get 2,496.
2,496. Now the one thing that I have left to write is the units. And volume is the next step, right? When we talk about length, it's always just an inch or inches. When we talk about area, we talk about square inches. How many little inches that's a square on either side fit, okay? But now when we talk about volume, Ian, what are we talking about? Cubic inches. I'm going to write inches cubed here. And folks, you can think about it this way. They're asking how many little cubes that are an inch on all sides fit into this thing, right? And I can't draw 13 little cubic inches in there. But that's what they're asking us. How many little cubes fit in this thing? And for this one, it's going to be 2,496 inches cubed. That's a nice job. All right? Let's look at the next example.